Hey guys, this is Watchalewknat, and today we got the review of the KJW Mk1 Carbine gas rifle. Hope you enjoy the video. Among opening the packaging of the KJW Mk1, you'll find 4 papers, 1 being the parts list, 2 being the user's manual, 3 being the KJW catalog, and 4 the mini poster of the KCO2 1022 gas blowback rifle. 3 other items included with the KJW Mk1 Carbine include the Allen wrench for the hop-up, some test BBs you probably shouldn't use in this because of the high power, and the 17-round single-stack full metal magazine. Okay guys, moving on to my first impression of this KJW Mk1 sniper. It is fairly balanced out at 3.5 pounds. With the skeleton stock and pistol grip combo, on top of the handguard being plastic, and then the outer barrel, receiver, and the magazine being metal, this gun is durable in all the right places, and with the light weight, if it's dropped, you should have a low probability of breaking. Starting with the stock, you have 2 screws on either side of the pistol grip. These 2 on the left, and then these 2 screws on the right. Removing these 4 screws from the stock while also taking out the magazine makes it possible to remove the stock from the rest of the gun. Starting off really in detail with the stock here, you can tell that there was no lack of external quality put in jeopardy when the stock was made. The whole stock itself is composed of 1 piece of plastic completely molded into 1 piece. There is the inseam split down from the middle, probably from when the stock itself was made, but besides that, this is completely 1 piece, not multiple pieces put together. End result, you get a really lightweight and very sturdy stock. Even looking at the pistol grip, you can tell that it's a very thin plastic, but it has barely any give to it, making it, a very reliable pistol grip, something that if you were to drop with the gun, you wouldn't have to worry about that part of the stock breaking. As far as the rest of the stock is concerned, as you see, the skeleton style, the whole middle section is non-existent, making it a fairly light stock. But the only con for the user is that it can get pretty uncomfortable using the butt part of the stock or even the cheek part of the stock. Moving on to the magazine of the KJW Mk1, if you do want extras, on most of your sites you can find them for about $26 to $30, so it makes them competitively priced if we're comparing them to, say, your gas blowback pistol. It does have a fairly mid-capacity rating at 17 BBs. If you were to rate this to the other snipers you're possibly using, your standard spring sniper rifle generally holds about 25 per magazine, and your standard gas sniper only holds about 5 to 10 per magazine. So this gas rifle is a very good medium. If you're looking for something in between as far as capacity wise, KJW Mk1 does a pretty good job of fulfilling that role. It is a single stack magazine, as you can tell by the thin profile of the magazine. It is completely metal. Moving on to the top of the gun, we have our 3-inch Picatinny rail and our rear sight. The rear sight itself is just your simple, quick on target blade sight. It is adjustable for windage and elevation. With the 3-inch Picatinny rail, it is probably not the best quality of metal. As you can see, the seam going right through the middle there, but it is metal nevertheless, so it will do you better than a plastic rail. And then located right here after the 3rd slot on top of the rail is where you would adjust your hop up. Turning it to the right will give you more hop, and turning it to the left will take off the hop. Moving on to the trigger and trigger guard of the KJW Mk1. The trigger guard itself is part of the lower receiver, so it is a durable plastic, but the trigger mechanism and the trigger itself is metal. It has a fairly long trigger pull, so it's pretty good for y'all snipers out there if you want to get that very concentrated shot. This is not going to be the gun that you're going to, lay 5 shots downrange really fast. Moving on to the handguard of the KJW Mk1. It is of very good quality. It is the same plastic as the rest of the gun, 1 piece, just like the pistol grip stock combo, but it is sleek while still having a slight bit of texture to it, making it really good for those offhand shots. Moving on to the last three components of the KJW Mk1, we have the full metal outer barrel, the orange tip, and the front sight post. Starting with the outer barrel, it is very, very good and very high quality metal. I'm not going to say it's the best barrel out there, but it's very sleek, and as far as I can tell, it's not too prone to scratching. So that's very nice to see in the barrel, and of course it is a smooth metal, not some textured or cheap feeling pot metal. Moving on to the front sight, this is a different story. This is one of the only other plastic parts of the gun, and I feel at any time it could fall off. So I would see that as a con, but then again, I hope if you're buying a 500 plus FPS sniper, you're going to be throwing an optic on the top. So those are really just a backup last resort sight. And moving on to the orange tip, it is not the biggest, most hideous orange tip I've seen out there, but for a sniper, I prefer not to have that piece of orange exposing me. Of course though, if you are going to remove this orange tip, make sure you check with your local field that you play at that it is okay to have no orange tip on your gun, as KJW does have aftermarket all black full metal tips available on most of your major retail websites. Moving on to my before testing pros and cons, I love the initial design of the gun. The fact that this is based off the Mk1, your magazine is located in the pistol grip. So it kind of gives you that in between your standard rifle and bullpup design, to where even though this rifle is pretty short in the front, you are still able to accommodate a fairly long inner barrel, which makes this gun even more effective for sniping than having a shorter barrel if the magazine was located up here more closer to the handguard. But the main con I would have to discuss with the gun is hop-up placement. As it is located in the rail, if you do have a fairly large scope or a non-quick detach scope on the rail of the rifle, it makes it really hard to make those adjustments in game. And I gotta admit, this KJW Mk1 isn't the most consistent as far as hop-up is. Okay guys, so look down in either of these corners, you will see the FPS ratings. As you can see, this gun does shoot very hot. Those 600s were pretty high, but as far as shooting a whole mag out, I was getting anywhere between about 538 and 580 consistently. So a very high FPS gun, so make sure you ask your local field before you go buy one of these guns about their FPS limits, because some of them will say no to this gun, even if you're using a heavier BB like a 0.3 or a 0.4 gram. Okay guys, so in conclusion, this KJW Mk1 sniper rifle is worth every penny that you spend on it. It's only a $90 gun. The magazines, as far as snipers go, are going to be considered a mid-cap. So that's always nice. It's not your standard gas mag like a 5 to 10, but then again, it's not like your spring snipers that hold 25. Extra mags do cost about 26 though, so do look to dish that out. That is cheaper than most gas sniper rifle mags, but of course that is more than your spring sniper rifle mags. In conclusion though, if you're looking for a gun that you're definitely not going to have to upgrade the power out of the box, something that you will have to tune the gun to be your own, because the gun shoots so hot that you're going to have to find the right BB, you're going to have to clean up the hop up, you're going to have to take care of this gun for it to do what you want it to do. But overall, you're not going to have to worry about this gun externally. This gun is externally sound. Internally, the FPS is consistent. Internally, the hop up design is good, but just hop up adjusting in gameplay is going to be tricky, I will tell you that. So as long as you do adjust this gun to the way you want it to shoot, this gun will do you wonders on those longer 250 foot distances and probably even further during a game. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my review on the KJW Mk1. Okay guys, to wrap up the video here, I do want to tell you what the next video on the Mk1 will be. Instead of doing an accuracy test, since the gun does shoot so high, I figured I'd do a destruction test. It would be a perfect time for me to shoot this zombie mutilator target. I will at least start the video by putting, I would hope, at least 100 rounds from the Mk1 into the zombie, and then I will test out other guns to see if they will actually penetrate it. So the next video, the shooting test of the Mk1, will be mainly for entertainment purposes only. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this video. This has been a Watchalewknat production, and I'm out.